And let's pay attention to Lauren.
Alrighty. All right, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna kind of set microphone up here. Hopefully it will work. I will also use my big kid voice because I'm a teacher and I know how to do that. So, maybe. It's a roly-poly one, so. Try to get it settled. Okay, so today we are talking about Knit Companion. It is one of my very, very favorite knitting tools in my knitting arsenal. So, one of my very, very favorite things. I hope to share it with you. It is the best $30 I spend every year. And I'm comparing that to my Knitting Guild membership dues. So saying something. So I know. So this is, I hope, going to become one of your favorite tools too. This is a pattern keeper. It is a progress marker. It helps me color code all of my patterns when I forget what the hell my charts mean. It is incredibly useful. It keeps all of my keys tracked for me so I can look back and go, oh, what does that mean? Oh, yeah, that. So it is very, very useful. And in case you would like to take it home with you, you can go ahead and type this little URL into your browser on your phone, or on your laptop or your tablet or whatever you happen to have with you, or you can copy or take a camera picture of the QR code and open it up on your browser that way. So if you would like to take this home with you to remember later, this is all of the information that I had in my 2-hour-long class, which I'm going to run through very, very quickly today. And so there is a lot more information in these slides than I will probably get to in depth tonight. But you can look back on it and there's like videos and things that you can check out later as well. But that way you have this tool handy. You can make a copy of it in your Google Slides if you want to, and then you can just have this information, which is very cool because it is useful information. I don't just say stuff to say stuff. I tell my students all the time, if I wanted to talk to myself, I would stay home and talk to my dog because he doesn't answer either. So I promise when I talk, it's for a reason. Alrighty, so hopefully has everyone had a moment to enter that bit.ly or grab that QR? I see some people still have a phone up, so I'll wait just another moment.
Is that a website?
There should be a website that brings you to these slides. And I can also post it to the website as well. I'll send that to Erica too.
Do we get patterns too?
I believe in paying artists for their patterns, so unless they are freebies, we do not share patterns in this group. So we pay artists for their work. Okay. All right. So quick disclaimer, I know mostly about the iOS stuff, the Apple products, because that's what I use. So if you have a Samsung device, a Google device, I'm sorry. I don't know as much about those things. I'm very sorry. I hear that they've done an update in the last year or two that makes them pretty similar. So that's good news for you. Hopefully good news for me too, because it means that I am not talking out of my butt. So that's good news for everybody involved. It's pretty much all the same now from what I'm told. I've also had this app for 4 or 5 years. When I first joined, they had a tiered subscription system. So they had a basics that you did not pay for. They had the essentials and then the essentials plus. So I joined the essentials plus, which was $20 a year, and had all of the fancy super duper features. And now it's $30 a year and basics. So they have the freebie version and they have the paid version. So they have switched their payment plan as well. So they may have changed up some of the features that are included now as well, but I don't know because I have never had the basics plan. So, take from this what you will. If you have the freebie plan right now, my information may not be exactly accurate from what is included in the basics. So if you see something included in basics that you see and is not included in my basics slide, let me know. I may be wrong because I've never had the basics plan. So if you see something in the basics plan that's not on my basics slide, let me know. There's a possibility I may not be 100% correct on that because I've always paid for it because it's always been worth it for me. So from my understanding from the 2019 Knit Companion Manual In the freebie version, the basics manual, or the basics Knit Companion, you get to link your Ravelry and your Dropbox patterns. So if you have downloaded patterns from somewhere besides Ravelry, you can like send them to your Dropbox and then link that Dropbox account with all of your patterns there and send them into Knit Companion as well. You can link your Ravelry and send them into Knit Companion so that all of your patterns are in one convenient place. Super handy. It includes your little "You Are Here" marker so that you can press and hold so that you have a little marker to say, this is where you are in your pattern. It includes your sliding row and your stitch markers and your basic counters so that you can just click, 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 click and know which row you are on. It includes the ability to rotate your pattern pages so you can flip them back and forth. And it includes a project timer and the ability to make some basics. Those are what you get for your basics. So they don't really skimp on the basics. They're what you need. They're just kind of your basics. They have your counter. They have your little stitch markers. They have what you need. For paid Knit Companion, it's $29.99 a year, and it is the best money I spend all year because I use this app every single day, which works out to like a penny a day. So less than. It works out to like a tenth of a penny a day. I use this every single day. So it's all of the basics plus some quick keys, a highlighter tool, super handy, some inverted markers so you can switch some things up, on-page notes so I can write in some little pop-up notes. I can also write notes that like just stay on the screen. So I can either click a little message note that I can click into, or I can just keep a little note on the screen that's popped up all the time. Linked counters, so I can like say, hey, I need to increase this many times and have that linked constantly. Customized simple counters and sliding markers. I don't use those very often, so I don't know a whole lot about them. I'll be fully disclosed there, but I do have some links at the end that will tell you more about them if you happen to want to use those. You can embed videos. So some patterns in your Ravelry, you might notice that designers will include YouTube videos and things for techniques. You can embed those videos into Ravelry so that you can just reference them in your keys. So it'll just pop up in a little box down at the bottom. So you can just watch that video in Ravelry without having to go to an external video. Super handy.
In Knit Companion, you mean?
In Knit Companion, yes, sorry. I know what I mean. You mean what I know.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just wanna make sure
yes.
it's like one.
Yes, you can do that in Knit Companion, all in the same app without having to go to any external resource, without having to open up YouTube and check, how do I do the provisional cast on? Someone has already linked that video in their pattern. You don't have to open it up separately in YouTube and double check, how do I do the provisional cast on? It's already linked. You can embed that right into Knit Companion and double check, how do I do the provisional cast on, just by linking down into your embedded videos. Very handy. You can edit your timer. So like you can reset your timer. You can say, well, I've been working on this piece of this sweater for X number of hours, and now I'm going to go to this piece of this sweater and I want to reset my timer. Continued. You can scribble. So if you are a handwriter or you want to cross pieces out of the pattern, you can scribble in your pattern. They have magic markers. This is one of my very, very favorite features. I will show you what that is in a little bit. Multiple keys. We have reordering and renaming projects. You can move them around by order of importance of what you're working on. You can add row reminders, again, for things like how often do you need to repeat things. You can add smart counters, and you can mirror your charts. So like if you're working on a chart that needs to be like reversed or mirrored, you can mirror your charts. So all sorts of very, very cool things. Again, I can't get to all of these things because I only have, a certain amount of time. This was originally a 2-hour long class. So I had a lot more time the first time I presented this. Sorry, I will get through the most important things. So when you first get started in Knit Companion, you have to create your Knit Companion name. If you're using Apple products, I use Apple products. And when you use Apple products, the cool thing about the Apple products is that all of your Apple devices, they link across all of your Apple devices and they sync to the iCloud. So super, super handy because as you are working on any of your Apple devices, they will save your progress across any of your Apple devices. So if you're working on your iPhone and then you pick it up later on your iPad or on your MacBook, they are in the same spot. So very, very handy. If you are not using that, if you're using an Android device, you can still use it, but it's not going to remember where you left off in that. So you're going to have to remember where you left off in it, or you'll probably want one dedicated device per pattern that you're working on. So just one little thing. But go to the tab that says Ravelry on the homepage at the top, and then you're going to log into your Ravelry account to get it linked up. So here's what I mean. Boop-a-doo. Where did my knit companion go? There it is. So you'll see here we have the iCloud, we have the Ravelry, and we have the Dropbox. If I'm not signed into my Ravelry account, which I am right now, if I sign out though, my accounts aren't linked anymore. Oh no, what am I going to do? I'm going to go here where my iCloud is. I'm going to go to Ravelry at the top. And then it's just going to have me sign into my Ravelry account. I'm going to log in. I'm going to authorize that I can log in. And then it's going to link all of my Ravelry patterns into Knit Companion. I have too many Ravelry patterns. Jeez. Look at all my Ravelry patterns. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. That's just the ones in your library.
And that's just the ones in my library. That doesn't even count my favorites. And some of those are books. All right, and that's not even the ones in my iCloud, which is also ridiculous. These are the ones in my iCloud.
You're gonna live to be 500.
Right.
I'm either going to live to be 500 or I'm haunting this place forever. Because, you know, you can't move on with unfinished work. So, okay. So those are my PDFs. You'll notice that these are in my little tab down here with my PDFs. So those are not my active projects. Those are my iCloud PDFs. My active projects are up here on my little yarn ball. That's my very first tab right here. So I'm going to click those. These are the projects that I am either actively working on or the ones that I said I was going to be actively working on at one point. Or the ones that I've forgotten to delete. That I finished and then forgotten to delete. So let's take a look at something that I want to show you that is something kind of cool. Oh, so let's take a look at this. So let's take, going back to my little slideshow here. Oh, if you have patterns that aren't in Ravelry, you guys can kind of see this in my slides too. Oh, not share, stop that. Sorry. If you have any patterns outside of Ravelry, you can also download them into Knit Companion. It's a little bit less intuitive though, especially like on a tablet. You have to like share them outside of the, yeah, you can share them outside your email. You can also just download them into Dropbox and then link your Dropbox the same way that you would link your Ravelry. That's my easiest and most recommended way to do it. Because you can actively link a Dropbox. That's really easy. And Dropbox is a free app that, or a free outside resource that you can use, a third-party storage device. Super easy to get an account logged into. So that's what I usually recommend. If you are wanting to do it directly from your phone, like you find a free pattern on a website, if you find it on your phone or your tablet, you can click the share option. If you have an iPhone, this is how I know to do things. You click the share option, click the print option, expand it with your fingers, and then send it to Knit Companion. So it's kind of a not super intuitive way to do things, but that is how you get it into Knit Companion. You have to do something that doesn't make any sense at all. So welcome to Apple products. They don't make sense. All right. When you set up a project, you're going to want to find a new thing in your PDFs. So let's pretend that I am going to start something new. I'm going to start something with cables because I want to show you some cool things that you can do in this. So I'm going to click one of my patterns. I'm choosing this one. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click, very intuitive, Start Project. And then I'm going to name it. I'm going to name it PT because I've already started this project, so I already have a Pixie Tank named. It will not let you double name a project. So if you already have that name, it will say, hey, you already have this pattern, what are you doing? So that's very thoughtful of Knit Companion, that it will tell you that, hey, you have already started this. You have too many patterns. What are you doing? So we have a couple of lines here. Yes, somebody has noticed. Hey, look at that. We have a yellow line. We do indeed have a yellow line. This is included with our basics membership. So we have two lines. We have a yellow line and a blue line. Some people love these lines. Some people hate these lines. The great thing about these lines is we can turn them off if you hate them. So these are our highlighter lines. Highlighter lines, very handy for if you are a big pattern follower and like to see where you are. So as we are following our pattern, we can move our yellow line down to where we are looking. This line is our stitch follower or stitch marker. Great for if you are following along with, say, a cabling chart. So if I leave off on a cable chart, I can say, oh, I left here on that. So next time I pick it up, I'm going to start there.
Both of those are with the basic?
Those are both with the basics.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, if you are a written pattern person and you're like, I hate that blue line, it's driving me insane, I don't like it, you can turn it off. You go to the Edit tab. You go to the Edit tab. That is something that you have to pay for. Sorry. If you want to get rid of the blue line, I'm sorry, you have to edit it.
You can just push it to the side.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, I
Or, yeah, if you hate it, you can scooch it to the side.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely allowed.
I like that. Now, I'm not sure why it's telling me that I need to upgrade mine because I absolutely have paid for mine. Hold on.
Breathing hard.
I am indeed logged in with my name. So you'll notice that my knitter's name is up here. When you first sign up for Ravelry, that's what you'll want it to be, or not Ravelry, sorry, not Ravelry, Knit Companion. I'm thinking linking Ravelry. Knit Companion, you'll want your name to be the same across all of your devices. Mine is just my first name. So I wanted to double check to make sure that it was linked across. I wanted to make sure that it was working. My iCloud is on. I don't know why it's telling me that I need to upgrade. I don't know. It's acting wonky.
Might be the Wi-Fi.
It may be the Wi-Fi.
You know, I've found in the past when I get that upgrade message,
Mhm.
that if I just say continue, it just automatically.
It may just say that. I don't know. Things are wonky sometimes. It's fine. Anyway, so you can scooch it over if you hate it, or if you edit it, it will also, I'm going to click that restore and see what happens.
Would it not come up then in anything you bring up if you do edit it? Or is it just for that one?
So it's anything that is, it says restored.
Now it looks fancier.
Yeah, because mine's not set to go back until June, so I don't know what's happening. We're going to try this again.
Yeah, it probably needs an update.
It may, or it may just be that the Wi-Fi is not syncing with my iCloud. My guess would be it's a Wi-Fi issue, and that my iCloud is like, nope, not playing this game. There we go. Alrighty,
Does it have a Google phone?
there we go. Okay, so now we're working. Now we're happy.
All right, I don't see the blue line.
Yep. So that's because I'm now in edit mode. So I have gone from knit to edit.
So
I'm in my edit mode now. So these little indicators here are some of my favorite things. The first one up here is your highlight tool. So this is great for checking your sizes, highlighting your sizes. I use this all the time for when my brain is too dumb to remember which size I'm making, which is frequently. Yeah. So I'm like, I am a size 4 in this pattern, but a size 6 in this pattern, and a size 8 in this pattern because designers. So I am going to click my highlight tool. I am going to click the plus sign, and I am going to click the size that I'm making. Huzzah! So I need this much yarn, and now I'll remember that I am making a size 4. I can change the color as well. I don't like that yellow because it drives my brain insane. So I'm going to change it to blue. Actually, no, I'm not, because now I can't read that color. So instead, I am going to lighten my blue so that I can read through it. Very handy tool. So if you click this little slider bar here, it makes it more opaque, more see-through. If you slide it the other way, it makes it less opaque. So you can't see through it. So I'm going to slide it back this way so you can see through it better. You do have to re-click the color though, after you make it less opaque. So re-click the color, find the color you like, find the color that works for you. If you are a pink person, make it pink. That's fine. So whatever works best for you is what you should do.
So when you do that, will it go that way throughout the whole pattern?
Yep, pretty much. Actually, it might change on the page now that I think about it. It might change per page. Let's take a look. So now I'm looking, and every page I'm going to look, and I'm going to put all of my size 4s, or I'm going to look for all of my size 4s. So here's my large, so I'm going to click again, my highlight, and I'm going to put, yep, so at every page I'll have to change it again, which is a little annoying, to be fair. And then you can kind of adjust your box. A handy thing that you can do is, instead of having to redo a plus sign, click, is this little guy down here. It duplicates the box every time. So click here, duplicate the box, and then you can just move it.
So you have to put it on each one.
Click, duplicate the box, and move it. So yep, you move it around to each one, each large or each size large that you'd want to do, or each whatever size you happen to do. Super handy. And that way you remember which size are you doing every time. So then you just do that for any time you might need that. Anytime you might need that reminder of which size you're working on. So I love the highlighter tool. Very, very handy. Next one down is your pop-up note tool. So this can be for alterations that you've made to a pattern. I use this a lot for, like, if I'm doing sleeves. So I might say a pop-up for, like, I might write a pop-up for increase every 10th row. And there's my little pop-up. So now when I go back to my knit, I can click on that one, and it's going to remind me what I did. I did an increase every 10th row. If I don't want that as a pop-up, as a little note there, then I can also back to that little note, and I can, instead of doing it as a pop-up, I can do it just as an inline text. And it will just be there all the time. So now that reminder is there. So it's just going to be there to remind me what I did. And I can move that to wherever I want it to be on the page. So really, really handy little reminder. Of course, this is a tank top, so it doesn't have sleeves. So that would be pretty silly.
Will the pop-up follow you page by page?
Nope, you have to put the pop-up where you want it to be. Yep, good question. All right, the highlighter tools, or the bars, the highlight bars, these are where you can edit or remove those. So you can kind of adjust this bar to go however big or small you want it to be. If you have a particularly small pattern, if your designer like makes really small text, you can adjust the width of the bar. So you can make it little teeny tiny or really chunky, depending on what you want it to be. You can change the color of this bar as well. If you really hate that yellow and it makes your brain hurt like it does mine, change the color. You can also change, again, the opacity. If you prefer a little bit of a lighter opacity and like to read through it a little bit more, that's absolutely fine. If you don't want to use it at all, just click it off. Same thing with that blue bar. Some people absolutely hate the blue bar. I don't know. So click it off. Absolutely fine. Click it off. Yeah, you can click it off. And some people like to invert them. So if you would rather have the, if you would rather have the background colored, and then I find that people, especially people with like dyslexia, find this a lot easier to have the background colored and the part that they're reading as the white. They find it a lot. I find that people with dyslexia find it a lot easier to focus on just that white little bit to read, which is fascinating to me.
Is this an advanced setting one?
This is an advanced setting one. I'm sorry.
That's okay, everything else is so cool.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to do that.
I'm in on that one.
Yep. Like I said, it's the best $30 I spend every year. And if you use it every day like I do, like this is where all of my patterns live. This is everything for me. So yeah, this is a really neat tool. So $30 a year is absolutely worth it in my budget every year. So this is one of my knitting budget bylines. So, all right. Next one, row counters. These are just row counters, right? So you can add as many of these as you want to. So it starts you off with 6, but if you need 24 row counters or 122 row counters, you can add as many row counters as you want. You just click the plus sign.
Okay, so if it says knit 19 rows, you can put.
If you want 19 row counters for your knit 19 rows, you can, but really all you need to do as you're knitting, you can click one of your row counters
Well, that's what.
and just
Yeah,
click it.
okay, that's good.
And then if you're using more than one, what I do is I put in the little note
Mhm.
and I make a note that like top row counter is for this,
Yeah.
bottom row
Yes,
counter
so I was
is
just
for
getting to that.
repeats
Thank
or
you.
Something like that.
So yeah, you can name your row counters. So like if I'm gonna name one of my row counters, I might say this is the right sleeve counter.
Yep.
And then my second one might be my left sleeve so that my sleeves stay even, which I will still probably forget to put, at least one row into my sleeve because I'm me, but they'll be even-ish. And that's the way to do it. So so yeah.
Isn't your one arm longer than the other one anyway?
So yeah, that is a great thing. You can name your counters. You can do that, and very, very handy. It's pretty cool, and you can just give it a name. That's another advanced feature. It's in the edit options. So pretty cool. These are I don't know as much about these. These are the special counters. So you can set these up. I have included links at the end of my slides here. Oh, I see a question. Yes.
I do have a question. On the old Knit Companion, there was a way of freezing the page so that if something or a child came up and touched your iPad, that the row counters don't keep going.
Give them a timer.
This one, I have not been able to figure out how to freeze the page. Do you know how to do that?
I did see that at one point. I saw this and I put it out of my brain because I have a dog now who doesn't touch my stuff. Hold on.
Yeah, I was just thinking that same thing. Yeah, my cat does.
There was a way to do this. I know. I am going to look that up when I have a little more time.
Okay.
Because I do remember seeing that. I think it was like a press and hold or something with like some number of fingers. It was like a press and hold with 3 fingers or something, if I remember, on an iPad or on a touch screen. So I will have to check.
So Lauren, when you're knitting, do you typically have your laptop that you're using for Knit Companion, or do you use your phone?
I typically use my iPad.
Okay.
Yep. I use my my MacBook today because I knew I was going to be doing this presentation with my slides too. So I thought it would be the easiest way to kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, so typically you find it most helpful to start on iPad.
Yep, because that's where like I'm usually in my little knitting nest on my couch. And so I have just my little iPad set up there on the stand. So yep. All right. So we have talked about the highlighter tool, notes tool, the slider bars, the counters. And now we are jumping into the charts tool. These are my favorites because I love a good color work chart and I love a good lace chart. These are my very, very favorite things. These are why I pay for Knit Companion. So this is also in the paid setup. And anytime you are using these, oh, I forgot these. Sorry, 1 second. I wanted to talk about magic counters and I wanted to talk about the rows here. I am not so good at the like magic rows here. These are like the linked counters, the smart counters. I included a lot of videos to the Knit Companion folks and the Very Pink Knits tutorials for Knit Companion because they are better at this stuff than I am. I don't use these hardly ever. They're for things like setting up like on sweaters where you're like increasing a certain amount for waists and sleeves and those kinds of things where they're using this particular tool. I don't use it as often. So I don't know as much about this. I'm getting better at it, but I am not the expert on it yet. So just so everyone knows, there are links and resources to it in my slides. So if you would like to do some more research on that, I do have the resources for you. I'm just not the expert for it yet. Magic counters, I will tell you about here in just a second after I set up a chart. So, all right, set up on charts. Yes, we are going to proceed. This will pop up anytime you start to set up a new chart. You're just going to click yes. It's just telling you that like you're doing a new thing. So, stop that. End the tour. All right, so this is a lace chart, which I use a lot because I love lace. So, I am setting up a new thing. So there are several options whenever you're setting up a new lace chart or color work chart. Anytime you're setting up a new thing, you're going to click this little plus sign button. It likes the plus sign button. This is an app that likes to make things as easy as possible when it can. So the plus sign is something that they've decided is easy for everybody. So plus sign, and I am going to do a chart piece because this is a chart, obviously. So we're going to do a chart piece, not a chart template. That's a different thing. So we're doing a chart piece. It gives you the whole pattern and asks you which page is your chart piece on. So we're going to grab our chart piece. We are selecting which piece we want to use. So I'm going to grab my chart that I want to highlight from my pattern. So I'm going to grab my whole little thing here. Here's my chart, here's my chart, here's my chart. There's more. But wait, there's more. All right, so that's my whole chart highlighted in the white. And then I'm going to grab this little magic wand here. I'm going to click it. And I'm going to make sure, oh no, it didn't get everything that I wanted it to get. So it says review the results. That is not the results that I wanted it to grab. So no thank you, magic wand, you did not do your job. It grabbed this little bit. That's not what I asked it to do. So I'm going to go and try again. So I know that it has 42 stitches and 24 rows. So we're gonna edit that. 24 rows, 42 stitches. And we're gonna try that again. Oh my goodness. And we're gonna expand it out over that much space. Then it'll look a little happier. So you can kind of manually edit things too. That magic wand usually does its job, but sometimes it gets a little fussy. There we go. When the grid lines are all pretty much lined up with your little boxes, that is what it's supposed to look like. So when the grid lines look like they line up with your little boxes from your chart, you have a happy chart. So then you can click into going back to knitting. So you can either go back to knit, and then you have a chart that you can knit from. So now, every time you click your counter, you can follow along just row by row just for that chart. Really, really handy if you are a lace chart knitter like I am.
and you don't like to like get lost in the shuffle of all that extra nonsense. Because if I am reading with all of this, that makes my brain burn. This is a lot easier to track with just one line individually. So additionally, I'm going to restart. If you press and hold this, by the way, then you can go back one if you're needing to think back, or you can redo the whole thing and restart from the beginning.
Now,
very
can you do it that everything else is yellow and just the line that you're doing is white?
Yeah, so that's in the edit with your lines. You can, hold on, invert. Yep, that's that invert option right there. Yep, super handy. Again, you can change your colors from yellow and blue to whatever you want them to be as well. So absolutely an option. So yes, excellent question. One of my favorite things to do with these too is magic markers. Magic markers help me a ton with those little weird stitches that I forget what they are. So my magic markers are the magic wand right here. I'm going to click the plus sign again to add a magic marker. Let's say I forget what this one is. Actually, I did forget what that one is. Hold on, what does that one mean? That is a purl two together. So I am going to, let's try this again. Magic marker. Click that one. I'm going to name it purl two together. I'm going to click my magic wand here, and its job is to grab all the purl two togethers.
And it does that automatically?
And it highlights them automatically
Without you having to click each one?
without me having to click every single one. So now I remember that all of these pink ones are purl two togethers. So every time I see a pink one, I'm going to think pink, purl two together. So I don't have to remember what that symbol means. I know that one's pink, it's purl two together. That helps me a ton.
If you like hover over it or something.
It doesn't, it just color codes it.
Okay.
But I color coded in a way that's like mnemonic, so
Yeah.
pink, pearl. So I find that helps me a lot.
You can always make a little note by it so that you.
Yep, you can also make a pop-up note as well. If you want to, and this is, a way not color coding, but you can make your key as well. So again, in your setup, when you are setting up your chart, you can also set up your key. So same with the plus sign, instead of a chart piece, you're gonna go to key. It's on the same page usually. And I'm gonna grab my key this time. So here's my key. There we go. And now when I go back to my knit, my key is right here. So now every time I'm knitting, I can see all of those things and I can kind of go back and see, oh, what was that stitch again? And it's all in that same spot. So I just have to scroll down here instead of going back and forth page to page and looking back and going, what was that one again? So really handy to go back and forth, or instead of going back and forth. So again, very, very handy tools to have on hand. So all good things, all good things. So let's see here. What am I forgetting? Talked about our charting tools, talked about our magic markers, talked about our keys. Oh, embedding a video. I love this tool. I love all the tools. I love all the things. Okay, embedding a video. Do we have a video in this pattern? Probably not, because no, we have an Etsy link in this one. Not the same as a video though. Dang it. No video on that one. Okay, let's find. I am going to show you what it looks like to have a video embedded in one, if that's okay. And then I can kind of show you what it looks like and what it means, Okay, so what I mean when I say a video is embedded in one. So this particular pattern, my Harewood sweater that I've been working on, has a video for the left lifted increase and the right lifted increase embedded into the pattern. So this designer, to help her knitters, included links to a video for those left and right lifted increases, because those are something that a lot of knitters happen to struggle with, just because it's not one we use all the time, with those lifted increases. So what I decided to do was embed the video, because it's one that I happen to struggle with. I don't use that increase a lot, and so I decided to embed that video. So when you embed a video, it's down in this very, very bottom section in your links. So I'm going to click down here. And so now that video is right here. So whenever I need it,
Hi everyone, this is a tutorial to show you how to
I can watch it.
left and right. So here I am increasing this round, and in the pattern instructions it tells me to increase one.
so if I wanted to re-embed that video, which I don't necessarily need to do, but if I wanted to, I would go into the PDF. I would find where that link was, and I would click on it. I would name it LLI, and then I would add the video link. So you'll notice that there's one extra little piece up here. There's these little guys up here. So this is like the top part, the top portion where all the pages are for your pattern. There's the bottom portion where all your keys and things are. And then this is the PDF version where like all the original pages of your pattern are. So that is where you'll find those original links. That's where you can click on those original links. You can name your pattern and then add the video link, and it'll pop up in your little section of your links here.
Where are the links?
So not every pattern has a link to it, but if a designer has included a link,
Yeah.
it'll
I
be
guess
in the,
after you've added it, how do you get to it?
so down here in the bottom section. So it'll be here.
Oh, it's just hanging out now.
Yep, it'll be here in your little linky section. And then, so you have your keys, and you can click to multiple things. So like, here's my key. If I click that key again, there's a different key. If I click it again, there's nothing, because I have quick keys and I don't happen to have any quick keys. Same thing happens with like my linked counters. I don't really have any linked counters for this one. Don't really have anything special on there. Here I have my videos, and then if I click it again, I have catching floats. I have my left and right increases. Project notes, which you can add any project notes into if you want to write some project notes. That's with your basics too. So you can add any special things that you happen to add into your projects. And then you also have your project timer. So that also comes with a ruler, which is not available. Yes.
Can you link these clips to another pattern that has that same stitch?
Unfortunately, no. They only work for the pattern that it is originally linked to. Because the designer included the linked video into their pattern, it's only going to be linked into the pattern that is originally linked into. Great question. Okay. I think I've gotten through most of the basics. Are there any other questions? Yes.
So you're saying you can't like grab a YouTube video and link it into wherever you want it?
Right. This is just how to embed a video from the pattern.
Okay.
Good question. Any other questions? All right. So I am happy to help anyone if you would like to start using this resource or would like to like delve deeper into this. I would love to help you get started or dig deeper into it. It is one of my very, very favorite tools. I would love to share more about it with anyone who's interested. So come find me before or after meetings. I would be absolutely thrilled to help anyone add this amazing tool into their knitting arsenal. And thanks for letting me share with you all.
We want to take a 5-minute break before we get into the
Yes.
business.
We wanna do.
Okay. Show and tell.
So we're gonna do show and tell real quick. The first one is Emily. Come on up.
Okay, microphone?
Okay, I know a lot of people only just learn brioches, but this is a cow I made. I actually did the whole thing twice because the first time it came out too narrow and too long, and I was like, well, that'll be great math-wise, I'll just knit it again. It's Madeline Tosh Merino Light, one ball of each color. This brioche book has some patterns, but it's also a stitch dictionary for 2-color brioche. So that's where I got that stitch pattern, and then I just did 4 repeats and, sewed it together. And I haven't even got to wear it yet because it's only just got cold. That's all I have to say.
The next person is Judy. Judy. Oh, there she is. There she is.
I do have your reading. Okay.
All right.
I am wearing the Even Fall by Andrea Mowry. It is 60-40 merino and mohair. So it's a little on the itchy side, so I have to have a little. It is a slip stitch pattern. It was like a mosaic slip stitch. It was kind of fun to do. And it's got picot around the sleeves and the neck. And it was also my State Fair reject.
We love it.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
I don't care. I wear it anyway. So it was top down. What else do I need to say? Oh, how much yardage? 1,719 yards. So that was a lot. But that's adding up all 3 different colors. And the yarn was from Green Mountain Spinnery, Simply Fine Fingering. Yeah.
The name of the pattern?
It's called Even Fall by Andrea Mowry. I ever say I want to do another fingering stocking.
The last person is Carol.
Okay, do any of you ladies watch Outlander?
Yeah.
The show Outlander, this is the Renshaw.
Oh.
So I am gonna go to Scotland this year, and I thought I'd start reading or start watching Outlander, and I fell in love with the series, and
For research science.
I'm crazy obsessed, so I'm doing everything Outlander. So anyways, I decided to do this, and the only reason I decided, because I thought I think I have a book that I bought years ago called Highland, and it seemed familiar to me. So I looked through my books, and sure enough, I had the book and I had the shawl in it. So I think
It's the
one
same
thing.
one from the show.
Yeah, yeah.
What the heck?
I know. Now, this is an inexpensive yarn that I had, and it was the perfect color. It's Lion Woolies, right, I think? And I didn't know if I would stick with it or if I'd like it, so I thought, I'm just gonna try it. And it's, as I was watching Outlander and binging on it, I just did this, so it worked out. So the one change I would make, and I've seen this, because I'm not as thin as Claire, I would add the I-cord tie to it, so that when you tie it, it would stay tied. So, and it is very warm, and my friend Susan said, if I made it, I would make the one that you can wear like a jacket. I was just gonna make to go to here. And then I thought, I have enough yarn, just do it. So I did that. So the book also had the Lollybrook Shrug, which was really fast because it's a bulky. And it's just a simple, just makes your shoulders cozy while you're knitting, right? It's really short. So anyways, you can make the sleeves as long as you want. So you can make like.
called again?
The Lollybrook is the name of the home where Jamie, it's his home. So,
Cute.
so anyway, I'm going crazy.
Oh, you spelled the name of the first one?
Yeah. It's just the Rent shawl. And you can actually buy the book still online.
Rent?
Yeah, Rent.
WR?
Like there's an episode, and I think they're collecting rent for taxes.
Oh, REN.
And she wears that shawl.
So
So,
she wears it a ton.
yeah, and then there's another one called the North Carolina shawl, same shawl, brown with 2 black stripes at the bottom instead of just the one black. So you can do anything with it, I mean, but I am gonna go to Scotland and I'm like, I'm making that. And it's gonna be cold and rainy, and I'm like, if I come back to my room, that's the perfect thing to put on when I do. So,
Are you gonna put the I-cord on?
I am gonna, and just in black, enough where you can tie it in the back, because I can put a button back there or something, but I think the tie is a good idea. You can wear it that way. So, and I wish I would have brought the book. Susan said, are you gonna do show and tell? And I never thought about it, so I'll bring the book next time and pass it around so everybody can look at it, but it's fun.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna take like a 5-minute break because we have to switch computers around for taping since we didn't have enough and Jenna's not here and blah, blah, blah. So, we'll be right back.
Welcome to the chaos.
So do I stop this one?
Yeah, go ahead and stop that one.